Hey guys, this is Gaiomon here for another late night deck profile. Even though I might be posting this in the morning, per probably the afternoon. As you can see from the title, Gaiomon is back. The deck, I've been actually working on this for a while and just trying to figure out the proper ratios for this deck because it's, as you know, red and black, they have a tendency to brick a bit, even if they have a lot of searching power. So I've been trying to find the perfect ratio basically for this deck to work, and I think I finally managed to make a really decent build, and I wanted to share with it or share with you guys this really nice build that I managed to make. It's still mostly the same. It's just I've added in the new BT11 cards to kind of supplement the old stuff. It's still based around going for Gaiomon, but now we have the option of going into Black War Greymon X and having Hades Force, which is a really busted option card that lets you wipe your opponent's Tamers and their field. So it just honestly, this deck just got upgraded really hard, and I'm honestly predicting that at Nationals, there's going to be a lot of players focusing on Black War Greymon X, and then having a little bit like basically it'll just be a red black Greymon deck basically where it runs like Black War Greymon X, and then like one or two Gaiomon. That's basically going to be what you're going to be seeing at Nationals because the deck is really high up tier wise, and the only deck I can think of that can even like get to its power level is Grandis and Metal Garurumon. The only other rogue deck that I know of that can actually or that has enough power to beat it is its basically its other side, Wargreymon X. It's the only deck I know that can punch through it without really worrying about stuff. So yeah. Anyway, let's get into deck profile so I can show you what I mean. First off, we're still running the 4 Coral mods because this deck likes consistency, and having 4 of the same egg works really well. But yeah, this one still gives the plus 1,000 if it's an Agumon or a Greymon, so no matter what, when you swing with this and the rookie, or if you're swinging with Gaiomon, you're still getting that 1,000 boost, so really nice. For rookies, we are running 4 of the Agumon from BT5. We still need a lot of search power, and this helps you basically grab 2 cards if you hit an Omni, so really nice. Then we run 4 of the Agumon x-antibodies because Agumon x-antibody is still really busted to this day. Evolving on top of this in Raising is good. Evolving this on top of an Agumon out in the field is really good. So just all around, you gotta run 4 of this. Then we run 2 of the Agumon from the starter deck 7. I only run this because I do not have the promo one that gives plus 2,000, but this is really good for swinging in because your Gaiomon will always be 15 or higher thanks to the other boosts. So really nice. Then we run 2 of the Agumon from BT8. This is the alternate art for it that you basically get from like certain tournament events or tournament packs, I believe. But yeah, this card is really decent still. You get to look at the top 4, grab a card with Greymon and Dragonkin, so basically this whole deck. So at least run 2. This card's still pretty decent, and the fact that it's red and black, so it can evolve on top of Koromon, so very nice. We run exactly the 12 eggs. I've tried to run more, but it usually bricks the deck, so I've kept it at 12 for a while. But yeah, for level 4s, we run 4 Greymons, the black one specifically from BT8, because it gives blocker, of course, on your opponent's turn, and this is very crucial because if you combine this with Black War Greymon X, you're basically getting 2 blocks. You're getting a redirect, and you're getting a block. So you have to run 4 of this card. This card's really crucial to stop rush decks, basically. Rush decks are really strong in BT11, especially Crossheart and Mervamon, or Beelstar Mervamon builds like the one that I did, that I posted recently. This helps stop that, basically, because you have 2 blocks. But it also depends if you draw this, because I've had like the worst luck drawing him. For anybody who has played Black War Greymon or War Greymon X or any X deck, I'm going to say with 100% certainty that all of you have had that moment where you evolve with the X because you have no other level 4, and then you draw into your normal level 4. I'm going to say with 100% certainty that that has happened to a lot of people. And yeah, that's why I run 4 of this, so I see it consistently. Then we run 3 of the Greymon X because this one is still really viable because you are stacking quite a bit. So having this as your backup option is really nice. And evolving into it isn't really too bad. whatever, you know, as long as you have the two Agumons, you're basically good. And if not, you have the two Metal Greymons above you, so it's pretty solid. Then we run 3 of the new Greymon X. I honestly predict that if Bandai decides to hit this deck at all, they're going to hit this card because the fact that it has. So, for anybody that doesn't know, this basically functions the same as Greymon, the original Greymon X, except that it has a secondary effect on your turn. If this Digimon with Digimon in a card with Greymon, you can reduce the cost by 1 for each color. And as you know, the Metal Greymons that we run are the one from BT8 that de-digivolve, and it's half black and half red. So you're basically getting a 2 cost reduction, so it becomes a 2 cost instead of a 4 cost evolution. And before, we didn't really have a way to mitigate the evolution aside from Nokia, but now that we have this, it makes basically the level 5 way too easy to get into. Also, the fact that his inherit requires the x-antibody option cards. I want to make that clear. It's not the same as Greymon X, where Greymon X, you have to remove 2 of the same type. Originally, I believe that this was just detaching anything with x-antibody in its trait from your stack, but it actually specifically states the x-antibody option card. So you have to have that option card underneath this to protect your guy, basically. But yeah, this card is really busted. I'm still predicting they're going to probably limit this to 1 or even just straight up ban it because it's so broken. But yeah, that's all the level 4s we run. We run exactly 10, and it honestly, it doesn't really hurt to evolve into this or into this. It's not too bad. You just kind of have to wait a turn to go to push your guy out, but even then, you actually can bait out your opponent by doing that, so it's really nice. For level 5, of course, we do play 5 of the Metal Greymon from BT8, as I mentioned. I have all alt-arts of this because this guy is one of my favorite Digimon, because he's a cyborg, of course, because I love cyborgs. But yeah, this card's really busted, especially with Greymon X. You basically evolve this for 2, and then you get to de-digivolve and pop a rookie, basically. So you're basically killing anything that's a level 4 on the field by de-digivolving it. And then also the fact is that his effect is still busted. It lets you attack unsuspended Digimon. This also might be a consideration for Bandai, honestly, because I feel being able to attack unsuspended is really powerful. The only other deck that has access to it is, I believe, Jesmon, because their level 5 also allows you to hit unsuspended, but only on Digivolve. This one is just an inherit, so it's really powerful. I'm honestly predicting this might get hit because it's just so strong. Then we run 2 of the original Metal Greymon X. The reason why I'm still running 2 of these instead of just 4 of the new one is because in mirror matches, this actually comes in crucial because combining this with, say, the Tamer, you are basically gaining 5,000 boost on your 13,000 Gaiomon. So when you swing into their War Greymon or their Black War Greymon X, you're hitting for 18,000, and that thing is not surviving because even without the boost from this, because most do not run this anymore, it's only going to be maybe 15, 16,000 max. So you're going to be able to kill it no matter what, and this helps boost over that. So I run it just to do that. And then at the same time, I also run 2 of the new one because this does give you protection from de-digivolving and DP reduction, and the protection from de-digivolving is really important in mirror matches, so you have to at least run 2 of this to protect yourself. And then his inherit is really powerful because when you reboot, basically, or you unsuspend, you get to trash a card from your opponent's security just by default. And with how you run Black War Greymon X and Gaiomon, you're basically guaranteed for this effect to go off. The other effect isn't really like as important because all it does is pop a 6,000 or lower as long as it has x-antibody or a Metal Greymon underneath, which you most likely will get. But the thing is that you mainly want this for this inherit and the protection. So yeah, but it is really nice that it can function kind of like an Alterius mode. But yeah, we run exactly 8 because that way we don't break. For level 6s, we run exactly 6. We run 2 of the original Black War Greymon, or the dual color one specifically. This one is still very powerful. Lets you pop Tamers or Digimon up to 6. So you can basically kill a few Tamers in the process. Then you can Digivolve into a Black War Greymon X, which is really cool for 2. It has Reboot, and then your opponent's turn, when they were to attack with the highest DP, you can redirect it with this guy. And then when a Digimon becomes unsuspended, he can just basically on your opponent's turn when a Digimon becomes unsuspended, If this has Black or Greymon X or an X-antibody underneath it in the sources, you can delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest play cost. So the cool thing is that this says when a Digimon becomes unsuspended. So most likely you're getting it from this guy rebooting, so you're guaranteed to pop their lowest cost. And if they don't have anything, you basically just have a unsuspended guy. Then we run 2 Gaiomon. Gaiomon is still my main focus of the deck, so I still run it at 2. This guy's still super busted. He can Digivolve for 2 on top of Black War Greymon, and the fact that he gets Security +1, he gets Reboot, he gets when Digivolving De-Digivolve as well, and he has Blitz too if it has a red Digivolution card, which basically this whole deck has. So no matter what, you're getting basically all of his effects no matter what. And with the boost from everything, you're basically swinging now for at least 15 to 16, maybe 18. I've actually been able to boost him up to 18, so really cool how strong he can become now compared to before. But yeah, we run these 6 level 6s because they are literally some of the strongest cards at the moment. Then we run 1 Blitz Omni because, Blitz Omni for game. Also, he has really cool protection effects, so we still play him. Then we still run the 1 Omni X because you can win matches if your opponent only has 1 security left. You just swing. You swing with the x-antibody underneath it, evolve, and then you basically remove the last security and you remove their biggest threat, and then you go in for game basically. So it's really powerful. You have to at least run 1 copy. That's all for the Digimon in the deck so far. The rest are options and Tamers, so let's get into that. We're running 3 X-antibody because this Greymon X does require X-antibodies, so you do run 3 of these just to see him as consistently as possible, and it's a really good card in security because you gain 1 memory, which can possibly pass it to your turn, which I've actually seen happen a lot in a lot of test matches I've done. Then we run 2 red memory boosts. Since we're running more black Digimon now, this doesn't really go off as much now. So I've opted to basically put this down to 2, mainly to make space for everything. Specifically the level 6, I had to make space for the 2 Black War Greymon X's. So I put this down to 2, and it's actually not too bad. I see this really often anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Then we run 2 of the new Hades Force. Cool thing is that I managed to get the pre-release copy, as you can see here. Yeah, right. I managed to pull 2 pre-release copies. I'm pretty happy about that because this card is really powerful, really busted. This is also another consideration. I think Bandai might do this and the new Metal Greymon X. They might hit one of these 3 new cards for the deck. And honestly, I mean, I can see why because this card is really busted. Basically, if you have a Digimon with an X-antibody option card, this only costs 5. And then when you play it, you get to delete Tamers and Digimon up to the amount. And basically, both of these guys, you're basically going to kill your entire opponent's board in the process when you play this card, and it's going to take them a bit to recover. So, really strong card. It basically sets you up for a game next turn. So unless your opponent is literally swarming the board with like Tamers and Digimon, unless you can't wipe everything, then you're in trouble. But most of the time, you should be able to. But yeah, that's all the options we run. We only run 7, which is really actually not too bad. Before we ran even less than this, but now that we have the Hades Force, we really don't have to worry about certain things. Also, the fact is for Tamers, we're still running 2 Cool Boys because Cool Boy is also super broken and really needs to get hit. It's too powerful. It gives X decks way too much advantage. Then we run 1 Nokia because Nokia is really powerful in this deck, and you get to play a body for free when she gets played. And then 2 Yuyas. I managed to get 2 A's from my friend Jose, so shout out to him for these, for the hookup. I traded a Alt-Art Mirai for these, so pretty cool. I know this card's probably going to go up way higher than that because this card is really busted. It's a memory setter, and whenever you evolve into anything of the same level that's a Greymon, you can tap this, and it's basically immune to options, and it gets plus 2,000 for until the end of the opponent's turn. So basically, you're giving this guy another boost, so you can boost him up to 20,000 if you want to, honestly. So, really cool how powerful that is. But yeah, that's the deck. As you can see, the deck is still basically mostly the same. It's just adding in the 3 or 4 new cards, basically, like actually no 5 cards if you include Black or Greymon X. But yeah, the 5 cards basically push this deck from like a tier 1.5ish, maybe like mid tier 1 to like the top the literal top of tier 1. I'm predicting that this deck is going to be really dominant unless everybody opts to switch to Grandis and just punch through. If not, most likely the format is going to be dominated by this deck, which I'm really worried about because usually when, especially in any card game, and I mean this in any card game, whenever a deck dominates that hard, speaking from personal experience, playing through Yu-Gi-Oh! From 2016 to 2020, I experienced FTK, I experienced Zodiac, I experienced freaking Drytrons, or even Salamangreat and Thunder Dragons, like all those crazy decks. And when a deck becomes like that powerful, like when it almost touches tier 0, we have a problem. Like, I love this deck. I love Gaiomon. I really do. That's why I max start him. But the thing is that when a deck gets this strong, um, also like Yellow Hybrid. Actually, I almost forgot about Yellow Hybrid. Yellow Hybrid and Blue Hybrid, especially Blue Hybrid, the fact that it basically became tier 0 and everybody played it to the point where it was actually getting really bad. Um, yeah, no, I'm predicting that this deck is going to get hit. Sad to say it, but like if they do come out with a new restricted list, they're gonna probably hit this to basically let new decks come in because this is too strong. Like, I mean, Greymon players do get a new War Greymon deck in set, I think, EX4, especially with the Alter S included into that deck. But it's like, this deck still beats it by a gigantic margin, which is really bad. Like, it's too strong. I'm just trying to say it, but it's, sorry for rambling here, but it's just I'm really worried that this deck might get hit, but at the same time, like part of me is happy that it might get hit because then other decks can make a splash in the meta. Because um, as you saw from a recent post that I put up last night, my prediction for the meta is that it's going to be a triangle. I'm thinking it'll be very similar to kind of like the format I believe that was in like the early 2010s, or my bad, like 2015 or whatever, when Yu-Gi-Oh had like Necros, was it Burning Abyss? Yeah, Burning Abyss, and the what is it? Shadalls. Yeah. It was like a triangle. Like one would counter the other, then the other would counter the other, and it would just go back and forth in a cyclical format, basically. That's what I'm predicting. It's going to be this deck, Grandis and Metal Guru X or Melga X. Basically, Grandis is going to counter this deck. This deck is going to counter Melga, basically. If you get your stack out fast enough, they basically can't get through. And then Metal Guru is going to counter Grandis, and then it's just going to keep going back and forth between that. And that's, yeah, it's a three format deck, or a three format, or a three deck format, technically. That's what it's going to be. Sorry for my mistake there. But yeah, it's gonna be weird. I'm hoping that it pans out and people figure out a way to counter this deck better. Honestly, because I've seen, like, if Japan could do it, we should be able to do it, honestly. And that's what I'm hoping for, because if we let this deck kind of get out of hand, it's gonna kind of kill the game for me, honestly. Because whenever it's just a one deck format, I just kind of tune out and I take a break from it. That's actually what happened with BT8. I basically took a break for a bit of time and just kind of waited until BT9 until we got the new starters, and then I just started playing security control again. But yeah, hopefully this deck, it pans out. If not, it's whatever. But anyway, thanks for watching. As I mentioned before many times, this is a template. This is my rough build of it after a lot of testing. So take what you will from it. Use it to build your versions, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.